I don't say this lightly, but I think Resident Evil 9 might be the best Resident Evil game Capcom has ever made. And before you click off, no spoilers, not even close. But after hours with this game, I can confidently say this is the most confident, cohesive, and emotionally compelling entry this franchise has ever delivered. Capcom didn't just tweak the formula. They split it right in half. This game fully commits to two completely different genres and gives each one room to breathe. Now, I know we saw this leading up with all the trailers and the gameplay, but it's different when you actually have it in your hands. Grace is true survival horror. She can't take much damage, she can't fight her way out of every situation. You have to learn patterns, you have to move carefully, you have to survive. There is a moment early on, not a cutscene, just you in a smaller area, and the hag is moving somewhere you can't see. You can hear her, but not see her. This teaches you exactly what kind of horror experience Grace is built around. More carefully, be ready to run, and always respect the threat. Then you switch to Leon, and it is pure catharsis. The action is the best it's ever felt, tight, responsive, earned. You feel capable but never invincible. And here's the genius part. The game switches perspectives at the exact moment tension might start to overwhelm you. When Grace's sections feel like they're about to become too much, you pivot. When Leon's action reaches its peak, you pivot. That pacing control is masterful. It feels like two separate games woven into one story, and somehow it never feels disjointed. That's true confidence. Now, I am a story guy. Always have been, always will be. And this is the most grounded, believable story this franchise has ever told. Without giving anything away, there's a pivot late in the game that challenges your perception on a certain character. Some people might not like it, but I personally loved it because it's bold. And on top of that, at the very end, they even question that new perception that you have, so it leaves it kind of open-ended at the end for you to come up with your own theories. The nostalgia here is purposeful, not cheap. It serves character growth, especially for Leon, and it never feels like fan service. Well, except for one late game detail. It's a small minor thing, but it's slightly more nostalgic than organic. And if that thread had been a little tighter throughout the story, it might have hit harder. Still, it didn't break anything for me. And juxtaposed with that is Grace's arc. She starts scared, insecure, overwhelmed. And watching her grow into someone confident and capable is absolutely beautiful. It almost feels like Leon and Grace start on opposite emotional ends and slowly move toward a middle ground. You feel urgency with Leon, you feel dread with Grace. That's layered storytelling. This isn't just narrative hype. The mechanics back all this up. No merchant. Now, I know the merchant was cool in 4, kind of weird in Village, but there was always this supernatural feeling to them, and they didn't feel like they really belonged in the scope of the game. Upgrades here feel grounded and believable. Everything feels integrated. Encounters give you options. You can unload everything you have, or you can wait. Or you can approach situations differently once you acquire new tools and weapons. That kind of design makes the game incredibly replayable. Even familiar enemy types are retooled in ways that completely change how you approach them, especially as Grace. The horror is earned. It escalates naturally, and they don't overstay their welcome in locations. You get enough time to soak it all in, but never so much that it feels like it's dragging. That's a lesson this franchise hasn't always nailed, but this time, they nailed it. Now, it's not flawless. There are moments where Grace sections can feel slightly tedious, especially when low on ammo and forced to take the long route with her slower movement. It's tension, yes, but a touch long. And I can imagine the more that you replay this, the more this problem can get frustrating. Even with this though, these are minor problems. The systems are confident and deliberate, and they reinforce why the pacing and perspective shifts are so effective. Look, Resident Evil 4 is legendary. It reinvented action horror. I'm not pretending there's some massive gap here, but for me, this is the first time the franchise feels fully realized. It fully commits to two genres while keeping a single cohesive story. The pacing is precise, the story is grounded and impactful, the mechanics reward careful play and exploration. It feels like they trust themselves now. There wasn't a single moment where I questioned a design choice. That doesn't mean it's perfect. It means it feels intentional, and that's rare. Now I want to hear from you though. Do you think RE9 tops RE4, or is RE4 still untouchable? Let us know what you think. This game feels like a huge turning point, not just for new entries, but for how they handle remakes going forward. There are seeds planted here that make me incredibly curious about what's next. I won't go deep into that today, but if you've been here since '96, there are things in this game that will just hit differently. And if this is your first Resident Evil, this might be the one that sends you back to play them all. So yes, I'll say it. For me, as someone who values story, pacing, and emotional weight, Resident Evil 9 is the best entry in the franchise. There is so much more to unpack here, the ending, the implications, the files you find throughout this game, but I'm not touching any of that today. Go finish the game. Really sit with it. And next week, we're going full spoilers, breaking down the ending and jumping back into our theories about what comes next. If you don't want to miss out, then join the Dead Zone and hit that sub button. We are the Respawn Bros. Thank you for stopping by, and as always, keep dying, keep trying.